Hi, I'm Stéphane Farou, and this is the sixth installment in my video overview of my book, Getting the Message Across: How to Use Presentation Software such as PowerPoint to Give Interesting Technical Presentations. Chapter 6 is called Animations. I have often seen PowerPoint experts advise against animations because many people use animations like this. You have here a perfect example of a visual contradiction in which the text says pro and implementation screams amateurish. As you can see, implementation speaks louder. Animation must have a purpose, and you should think about why you want to animate. One first reason is to show what you are talking about gradually as you are talking. A second reason is because the movement is part of the story, and I'm going to give an example soon. Finally, and I'll talk more about it in the next video, movement may be here simply to help you stage your sequences. Some of these goals may be achieved with transitions, but there are at least 3 cases when you need animations, because transitions are unable to do it. You need animations when you have several objects that move simultaneously and in a different way. With transitions, all objects would have to move in the same way. You need animations to change the size of objects on the screen, and you need animations to move objects across the screen. Moving objects is something that should be very common. When you look at what people write on a whiteboard or a paperboard, you usually find a lot of arrows. And when you see arrows, you can imagine a very dynamic presentation. Why not animate arrows or make objects move to make your presentation more like something that you would explain to a couple of people? Movement indicates passion and raises interest in your audience. If people cannot see you, or cannot see you well, or if you are paralyzed by stage fright, a dynamic presentation will transmit the passion you have for your subject. I'm going to illustrate how animation enhances a presentation with a simple programming example, the declaration of an integer variable in a program, and the assignment, storage if you like it better, of value 42 in this variable, operations that you write like this in several languages. You can show everything at once and comment. A better solution is to show first the declaration of the variable, comment it, and then make the assignment appear on the second slide with a fade transition. What may be helpful for people who start programming is to represent the variable with a box into which data is stored. However, if the value appears magically inside the box, the audience loses the dynamic idea of storing something to it. I don't know what you think about it, but for me, it's far more explicit with a move. Animations also improve how you make text appear. Whenever I make an annotation appear, I warp it in the sense of writing, an effect I can achieve with either a transition or an animation. It no longer looks good when there are several lines in the text block, because all lines are wiped at the same time. If you use animation though, there is a way to obtain a far more natural result. In the pane that controls animation, it may look different in your version of PowerPoint, there is a section that says Text Animations. In this section, by default, Animate Text is set to All at Once, but you can set it to By Letter, which applies the effect to each letter in turn. With a handwritten font, I feel that using Fade, animated by letter, gives a much better and more natural result. With a regular font, though, I prefer the checkerboard animation effect that I only use for this purpose. There are many animations, most of them are pretty useless, but a few can really enhance what you have to say.